welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of December 22nd, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me today, only one individual.
It's me. It's Benjamin Daniel Lawless. I'm the individual, and I am so glad that you're here, Stephen, because it is exhausting to keep this show together.
This show is exhausting, and I love every minute of it.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. People should immediately notice, not only am I back, but I don't sound like I'm talking through a tin can anymore.
Yeah. How'd that happen?
Well, and also I want to say, please excuse, I'm probably going to be coughing during this episode because I'm still recovering from a really bad case of the flu. But the reason why I don't sound horrific in audio terms is the old soundboard is gone. It through lots of testing found the old soundboard was just not up to snuff. I don't know what happened. Maybe some wires got loose. Maybe there's a rat living in its eyeball. I have no idea. But it's no good anymore. And I got a new one and connected all the bits and pieces together with the new little soundboard. Much more compact. And you know, all these years later from buying the first one, the first soundboard was like, this would be good for live shows and it would be good for 6 microphones. And it was over-engineered for what I was using it for. Yeah.
Press F to pay respects to your soundboard.
Yeah, old dusty. It's just sitting in the garage now. It's going to be bits and pieces for building stuff now one of these days.
Like your kit hacking stuff?
Kit bashing.
Kit bashing?
All that. It's got so many knobs on it, and those knobs are going to turn into like engine nozzles or something one of these days.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it'll get second life somehow.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, new board. It's working great. So far so good. All the testing everything seems cool. So yeah, that's that. Also, via my birthday, my wonderful wife got me a brand new graphics card for my computer and some new solid state drives. Oh,
nice.
Dude, it is so good.
Nice.
Yeah, but it took some work getting everything going. So, yeah, I had to kind of rip my whole computer apart, kind of rebuild it in a good way. Got to dust it all out and everything, which is always fun. It had been forever since I'd cracked the case open to do stuff. Blasted all the dust out of it, put in the new cards and everything. All while my youngest was sick with the flu. So my birthday's on the 6th. The week after that, my youngest, who's 6 years old, she got the flu all week. Just super high temperature. It got to a point where we took her to the doctor, and then they tested her. They're like, oh yeah, this is the flu. And this flu was not in our, I don't know if they're local vaccines or countrywide vaccines, but this strain was not in the vaccine. So they're like, yeah, everyone's getting it because we didn't anticipate this is the one that was going to go around. So, oops.
Oops, all flu.
Oops, all flu. Yeah, which is exactly what happened in our house. So the entire week of, December 8th through the 13th, by the 13th, she was finally better again. And that's the day that I went down.
Oh, no.
It's rare that a sickness takes me out as much as this one did. Wow. Friday night, it was like, temperature's creeping up. All day Saturday, like 103, 104, it's asleep all day, sweats, confusion, coughing, just insanity. Most of the day on the Sunday after that, which is the 15th, a week ago, about half the day I slept. The last half of the day I was like, maybe I'm kind of starting to come out of it. And then on the Monday after that, the 16th, I was like, I'm feeling pretty good today. And so, got up, took a shower, took the kids to school, started doing stuff around the house because my wonderful wife, took over while I was sick and kept the house together. Um, and so on the 16th, I was like, okay, feeling pretty good. That night, couldn't fall asleep.
Mm.
And if you know anything about anything, your body heals at night when you sleep, right? That's when it
Yeah.
really gets to work. And, I couldn't fall asleep until probably around 4 in the morning. I started to like doze off and get little snatches of sleep. Well, because of that, Tuesday, the day after that, complete resurgence. Flu comes back, coughing, high temperature. It was just like, are you kidding me? And then from then on, I've been slowly, day by day, increment by increment, getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Finally, on Friday the 20th, I was like, okay, I think I'm good again, but I have to keep an eye on this.
Yeah.
And so I was, taking it easy. And those 2 weeks that are essentially have been erased from existence for me, we're in the middle of December.
Yeah.
The part
Yeah. This is a busy time.
This is Merry Crisis time. Especially for our household, because it's like my birthday's on the 6th. My oldest daughter's birthday's on the 8th. We tackle those 2 things, and then it's Christmas, right?
Right.
And I was talking to the wife after like all this happens. We're like, next year we're starting at right after Thanksgiving. We're starting like we can't wait for birthdays anymore to do Christmas stuff. Because those 2 weeks we had sat down, we'd blocked out our time. Like, okay, this week we're gonna do this kind of shopping. This week we're gonna do that kind of shopping. We had it all figured out. We thought we had it all figured out, and then the flu said, "Ha ha 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 ha." Anyways,
Foolish mortals.
yeah, foolish. Anyways, so that's been like a 2-week long sickness. While that was happening, so my youngest daughter and we had it the worst. My oldest, she had it for about 3 days. There was one night she was like, and they're like, oh, 101. Next day, stayed home from school. The day after that, when she got up, it was like, you're at 99. We'll keep you home one more day. And then the day after that, she was fine. I was like, okay. And then my wife, Martine, you know her.
Yeah.
She has been running ragged, picking up all of my slack, right? All my sickness slack. And so she's been like, I don't know, like her temp would kind of go up and it would kind of go down. She'd get headaches. She's got this like chronic sore throat. But she's like, I can't tell if it's exhaustion or if I'm fighting the flu or like what's going on. I was like, well, it's probably a little bit of both. Well, now that I'm like back to being able to do stuff, she's feeling a little better too. So she kind of dodged the bullet as well. And now it's 3 days before Christmas, and yesterday we got all the shopping done. So we're good now. Everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, we did a lot of shopping yesterday too, but a lot of our shopping was, well, we've decided like internally within the household, like, hey, if we want to encourage our son to make crafts for the holidays, like for gift giving, then we should at least have some, like, number one, have stuff to do that with, and number two, maybe we could do that too, right? Like that this isn't entirely just, oh, you make stuff for us while we shower you with money bought things.
Right.
So, I'm pretty excited about some stuff I'm making for Flint and Nicole.
So you're doing like crafting stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, like the thing I've got in mind, and he's not here, and this episode isn't coming out until Christmas anyway, but I'm going to be, I've got like a shadow box that I'm going to be making like a scene from Terraria out of.
Oh, cool.
Like a 3D, and like drawing like the Moon Lord attacking, and kind of have like depth going on there. I found like a really cool shadow box where it's 4 different glass panes that you can put your pieces of paper in, so you can like create that depth of illusion like really
it's like
easily.
It's built into the frame already.
Yeah, so I don't need to like I don't need to like, put in like cardboard spacers or anything behind paper. I'm pretty stoked about that. It's gonna be cool. And then I got like a sketchbook that's all black pieces of paper, and then I got some special Sharpie creative markers that work really well on black and on any surface.
Ooh,
So I'm like, I'm ready. Let's go. It's gonna be cool.
that's whenever anyone talks about black paper, I always remember that the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
It was done. The thing that I've heard is that it
Right.
was animated on black paper because it was so dark that it was just like, well, instead of using all this black ink, we'll use black paper and put the color on top of it, which makes sense to
Yeah.
me because that was a pretty dark show.
Hell yeah.
By the way, you're gonna love this, and this isn't on our list at all. I showed the girls the trailer for James Gunn's Superman,
Yes.
which is fantastic and
Yeah.
looks beautiful. Um,
I can't wait. I have not been as excited for a Superman movie since Superman Returns. Like,
I have not been as excited for a Superman movie. So yeah, this like really, this is the first time because I'm not a big Superman guy, but this is the
Right.
first time where I was like, this actually looks interesting. The fact that they open it with him being hurt is huge,
yeah.
right? But I showed that to the girls, and my oldest, she doesn't like blood, so right away she was like, ew. I was like, wait for the puppy, but still she was like, eh. I was like, okay, well, look, let me show you something else about Superman, and I pulled up YouTube, and I found a clip from the Superman animated series, and it was a crossover with Batman.
Okay.
Called World's Finest. It's a 3-part episode. If you have Max, the HBO streaming thing, you've got it. It's the second season
Or you don't, because the second after we release this episode, they may just pull it from the platform.
who knows? Who knows?
So-
Yeah. So it's yeah. Anyways, it's in the second season, 3-parter. It's great. So I showed them just like a clip, and they were both so immediately enthralled. They were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, ho, 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 ho." So I opened up the I found the actual episode, and I was like, and we started watching it, and they were like, "This is so good," and I was like, "I know, right?" We ended up watching all 3 episodes
Yeah.
right in a row, and they were like enthralled, both of them, and I was like, "Yes, this is the good animation, the good storytelling, the classic crossover." And it was titled World's Finest, right? Because that was in the comics. Batman, Superman get together. It's called World's Finest. To see them as happy and excited to watch that, it just filled my heart with joy. Just wanted to share that. It was
That's
great.
awesome. That's very cool. Yeah, we recently in our family, actually yesterday, we watched this film called Perfect Days.
Mhm.
And this was probably the first time in a very long time where I picked something that did not jive with my son
Oh,
at all.
really?
Now, I thought it was a slam dunk. So this is it's a 2023 drama film. And the idea behind it, it's about a man who cleans public toilets in Tokyo.
Okay.
He lives his life in simplicity and daily tranquility, and then kind of near the end, he has some encounters that kind of lead him to reflect on himself.
Okay.
Now, I had heard amazing things. It actually won at Cannes. It won Best Actor in 2023 for the main actor in it, Koji Yakusho, and it's like it is a vibe. The film is just like a slice of life about a man who lives simply in modern day Tokyo. It was a slower paced film, and to me, I really enjoyed it because it felt like a way of traveling to Tokyo without actually going there. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And given how much my son has been wanting to go to Japan, I was like, oh, this would be, like This is a slice of life of how people how a certain person lives in suburban Tokyo, and like, or not suburban, in urban Tokyo.
Hmm.
And I loved it. I thought it was incredible. Just a visual tour de force, incredible cinematography, great vibes, uh, like a philosophically sound film. Um, it on Common Sense Media, they say it's 12 and up
Okay.
because there are scenes in a bathhouse where you see men's buttocks.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Won't
And there's
someone please think of the children?
and there's a song that references a brothel.
Uh,
Hint,
okay.
the music in this film is incredible, but the song is "The House of the Rising Sun."
Oh, which is, oh, I love that song.
Uh-huh.
That's,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
The soundtrack is just such incredible like hits, like Lou Reed, and I mean it's got a soundtrack that is unbelievable. But the basic idea is that the main character, the public toilet cleaner, he has a cassette player in his beat up van that he
Hmm.
works out of, and so he's listening to his cassette tapes as he's going around. But part of like when he's interacting with his coworker who's much younger and likes to distract himself while cleaning toilets by looking at his phone. Uh, he's trying to get the affections of this girl who she's like, hey, yeah, I kind of like these cassette tapes. They're, they sound cool, like from their because of how cassette tapes sound, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyhow, this idea that like he's just going about doing his own thing and living his life uh, because it's how he is. He's a photographer. He does all this stuff, but it's a quiet and serene life. Anyhow, my son, it wasn't for my son. He was like 45 minutes and he's like, can we be done with this? I was like, dang it.
Well, see here, so I mean, this is pretty good. This is a good clue for you that
Yeah,
if you guys pack up all your things, get it on a plane, fly to Japan,
right.
about 45 minutes in, he might be like, "Can we be done? Can we
You
go
might
home
be.
now?"
Yeah. Right. It is a nice, yeah, that is nice. But
That's cool,
I
man.
highly recommend it.
Where
It
where
was
can we
so
watch
cool.
that?
Any way you can, Stephen, because as I said before, like they pull things.
Right.
More on this as it develops with where rabbits come from.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Oh my gosh.
So go see it any way you can.
All right. So that is Perfect Days.
Perfect Days.
Yeah.
According to IMDb, it says it's on Hulu
Okay.
right now.
So try that first
Yeah.
and then do what you can do.
And then whatever. But it will be it's worth it if you're into vibes. If you
Hmm.
want a calm, like it feels uh like Walden Pond, like the much faster and more cinematic version of like Walden by Henry David Thoreau. Like,
Okay. All right.
yeah, but it also does have a plot in here. Nicole was somewhere in between my enthusiasm for it and my son's disinterest. She was like, "Well, I'm kind of reserving my judgment for when an actual plot comes up."
Oof.
She's like, "I kind of like this vibe. This is cool, but also, is something going to happen? Something kind of happens, sure. But many
Okay.
things happen. It's kind of like a series of vignettes, I
Mm.
suppose you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. If any of that sounds like a cool, like cozy film, check it out. You could do better, or you could do worse.
Excellent. Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to the science and science fiction. There's one last thing since this is our Christmas episode. One last thing I
Sure.
wanted to talk about before we get to the future or now. There is an animated movie on Netflix called That Christmas. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, watch it immediately.
Okay.
It is, I would say, so I'm not a big Christmas person. There's reasons for that. Most of the time, Christmas movies to me are just like, why? Like, oh no, but Santa. Ah, okay. Like, and that's the whole plot, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, you just gotta believe,
Yeah,
Steven.
yeah. So there's this. It's this wonderful Christmas movie. It's animated. I'm not sure what. I don't remember the animation house, um, but it's essentially a little like there's this little village in England, and things are kind of going wrong, and it's kind of chaotic, and the main characters are all these kids and some of the adults. Um, but the main thrust is well, okay. The film starts with Santa and one reindeer going through a blizzard and just like crashing through this town and like finally resting on a roof, and it kind of like it does that like I bet you're wondering how I got here. Well, and then it like rewinds time for like 3 days earlier. Um, and essentially it's like here's all these kids with real kid kind of problems, which are not really problems, but they are for kids.
Yeah.
Like one kid, oh, his mom works all the time, dad's not around. Other kid, like, oh, she's older, but she's got to take care of the little kids. Oh, there's these twins, and like one's always in trouble. The other one's like is anxiety ridden because you gotta be good for Santa, otherwise, oh. And so it kind of follows all these kids, and then as Christmas gets closer, like things start going wrong. So the title of it, That Christmas, is like, oh, remember that Christmas when everything went wrong, right? So the Christmas Eve, all the parents leave to go to like a wedding, and all the kids are left kind of home alone. And then like this huge blizzard happens, and so they all kind of have to like survive and deal with it. What I loved about this movie is that's the point where like Santa comes in and does Santa stuff, but then is like he's not the one that rescues everything. He does Santa stuff, which was great, and that affects the kids in certain ways, and then he leaves, and then the movie keeps going. Right? It's like then it's like okay, well, okay, we got some gifts and some things happened here or there, but that didn't solve everyone's problems, right? The things that solves everyone's problems is more traditional stuff like working together, sharing, like good values and morals kinds of stuff, and helping each other and all that. Christmas spirit type things. And it's a lovely, wonderful film. I highly, highly recommend it. My 6-year-old loved it. My 10-year-old loved it. I loved it. And so I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. It's a great Christmas movie. The accents are great because it's from this very specific part of England. It's who's the actor? When you hear the accents, you'll go like, oh, it's that one actor who always sounds like that.
Gotcha.
The butler. So Alfred from the Christian Bale Batman's movies.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah. So his specific English accent, like that area, is what everyone sounds like in the movie, which is it's wonderful. So, anyways,
on.
That Christmas on Netflix, I 5 out of 5 snowflakes.
Wow.
And Christmas hats.
It made you believe again, huh?
It did. It 100% did. And the
Nice.
reindeer talks and is sassy, and I love that too. So, all right,
Cool.
let's go ahead and move right along to future or now.
Now.
Well, Ben, what is it? Is it future or is it now?
Yo, it's right about now. We're about to fly a
Funk's your brother?
spacecraft.
Sorry.
Oh man, yeah. We're about to fly a spacecraft into the sun for the first time, y'all.
Wow, how
Like-
come?
How come? So this is an article from Ars Technica that was published December 19th, 2024. There is so nobody really writes about the Parker Solar Probe anymore.
Okay.
It got some attention when it launched. It's, after all, the fastest moving object that humans have ever built.
Whoa.
At its maximum speed, goosed by the gravitational pull of the sun, the probe reaches a velocity of 430,000 miles per hour.
Whoa.
Now that's more than 1/6 of 1% the speed of light.
So
Uh,
what warp is that?
well, I don't. No, that's still
Po-
impulse. That's
point.
maybe half impulse.
Okay. Like 0.06 warp.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
But it also has the distinction of being the first NASA spacecraft named after a living person. At the time of its launch in August 2018, physicist Eugene Parker was 91 years old.
Oh.
So in the last 6 years, it really has not been very newsworthy. You know, the astrophysical properties of the sun and its complicated structure are not something that most people think about on a daily basis. But this smallish probe, it's less than a metric ton. Its scientific payload is only about 110 pounds. It's about to make its star turn. On Christmas Eve, the Parker Solar Probe will make its closest approach yet to the sun. It will come within just 3.8 million miles of the solar surface, flying into the solar atmosphere for the first time.
Wow.
It's going to get hot, y'all.
That's incredible. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So its heat shield is going to endure temperatures in excess of 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit
Whoa.
on Christmas Eve, which pretty much the polar opposite of the North Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea here is that the Parker Solar Probe is intending to try to understand the origins of solar wind, that stream of charged particles that emanate from the sun's outermost layer, the corona. Now, scientists have been wondering about this particular mystery for longer than half a century, mostly because, well, way back in the 1950s, before we had satellites or spacecraft to measure the sun's properties, Parker, the eponymous Parker, who this spacecraft is named after, he predicted the existence of solar wind, and the scientific community was pretty skeptical about the idea until the Mariner 2 mission started measuring the solar wind in 1962. And so the scientific community after that began to embrace Parker's theory, but they wanted to know more about the solar wind because it's such a fundamental constituent of the entire solar system. It's invisible to the naked eye generally, but when you see an aurora on Earth, that's the solar wind interacting with Earth's magnetosphere in a particularly violent way.
That's the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah. You may think it's a super easy thing in the world to send a spacecraft to the sun because it's a big and massive object in the sky. It's right there.
You pointed at the bright spot, right?
And just go.
Go.
Right?
Go fast.
Things should want to go there because of the attraction. And you ought to just toss any old thing into the sky and it'll go towards the sun. But you don't want your spacecraft to fly into the sun, honestly. And you also don't want it to be going so fast it passes the sun and keeps on moving. Okay. So you've got to have a really powerful rocket to get your spacecraft in just the right orbit. And they did it. And so you've got this sophisticated spacecraft that can survive flying into the atmosphere of a star.
Wow.
That's like super hot, and there's all this hellish radiation around, and there's plasma. And it's Christmas Eve, right?
I mean, and then you got to deal with Santa and the reindeer.
Right.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Lots of science.
But in order to observe the origin of solar wind, you got to get inside the corona. And so in order to do this, in order to build the Parker Solar Probe robust enough to get near the sun and then back into the coldness of space, they had to do some really interesting things. So, for example, they had to have something that's lightweight and durable. The science instruments had to be hardened as well. So this Faraday cup that's one of the instruments that's on this payload, it hangs out to measure ion and electron fluxes from the solar wind. So they had to basically make the cup itself out of titanium, zirconium, molybdenum, which molybdenum, which has a melting point of about 4,260 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whoa. Okay.
And then when you're wiring it, normal cables are just going to melt. So a team at the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory grew sapphire crystal tubes in which to suspend the wiring, and then they made the wires from niobium.
Jeez. That's
So,
incredible. Way to go,
yeah,
scientists.
we now get, hopefully, like, I'm really excited. I mean, so far, as of the time of this recording, it's not Christmas Eve yet, but on Christmas Eve, we finally get to see the result of not just the 6 years that this spacecraft has been traveling to get to where it is, but also all the time, money, and technological breakthroughs and exotic materials to make this spacecraft. We're going to see all of that play out, and hopefully get a bunch of data that'll help us to get even closer to understanding solar wind on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Turns out, Santa farts.
Got right? Maybe.
Solar wind.
I mean, when you eliminate all of the impossible, whatever's left, however improbable, must be the truth.
Must be the truth. It's all those cookies and the milk.
Right. More on this as it develops, Stephen.
Oh, I can't wait. That's super cool. I mean, hopefully we get some like startling readings back, like something that's like, oh man, we didn't know that. Look at that.
Right.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also pretty incredible that we didn't have an idea that any of this had existed 60 years ago, 70 years ago.
Right.
So like,
technology is so just drastically leaping forward. It's amazing.
Yeah, but like from going from we have no idea to I have a theory to this seems to hold up in terms of our measurements, to now where we're flying. Like there's an episode of Next Generation where they're able to fly a shuttlecraft into the corona of a star, and now here we are. We're doing it.
That's amazing.
Not people. But
yeah, no shuttlecraft, but
yeah, no shuttlecraft.
Still. Oh wow, awesome. Okay, is that it? Is that a wrap on that?
That is a wrap on that. For now.
Okay, no future, just for now.
Just for now.
Okay. Well, I've got a now as well, and I'm calling it "That's Nuts," and you're about to find out why. So this comes from Science Daily. It was published on December 18th. The title is "Carnivorous Squirrels Documented in California." Now, take a deep breath, because this is nuts. So this was from a paper published in the Journal of Ethology. The study fundamentally changes our understanding of ground squirrels. It suggests that what was considered a granivorous species is actually...
I love that word, by the way.
I hope that's a real word, but yeah. Actually is an opportunistic omnivore and more flexible in its diet than was assumed. So there were... Let's see, who was the lead here? The study was led by Wisconsin Eau Claire and University of California, Davis. So the observations occurred in 2024, the 12th year of the long-term behavioral ecology of California ground squirrel project conducted at Briones Regional Park in Contra Costa County. Out of 74 observed interactions with voles between June and July, 42% involved active hunting of these small rodents by ground squirrels. The squirrels are eating the voles. That I mean, it's not in the Bible, I'm guessing, but it probably should have been.
Is this a sign of the end times, Stephen? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, according to Ray Stans, cats and dogs living in harmony. Anyways, yeah. So this is well, quote, "This was shocking. said lead author Jennifer E. Smith, an associate professor of biology at UW Clare, who leads a long-term ground squirrel project with Sonia Wilde of UC Davis. Quote, "We had never seen this behavior before. Squirrels are one of the most familiar animals to people. We see them right outside our windows. We interact with them regularly. Yet here's this never before encountered in science behavior that sheds light on the fact that there's so much more to learn about the natural history of the world around us." So, Sonia Wilde has observed hundreds of squirrels in nature, and yet, even for her, when the undergraduate students came in from fieldwork and told her what they had witnessed, she said, "No, I'm not sure what you're referring to." Then she watched the video. Quote, "I could barely believe my eyes," said Wilde, a postdoctoral research fellow at the UC Davis Environmental Science and Policy Department. Quote, "From then, we saw that behavior almost every day. Once we started looking, we saw it everywhere." I might be over dramatizing. That's not the right word.
Dramatizing.
Dramatizing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Too many syllables.
Dramatize.
Over dramatizing what was written here, but I thought that was pretty funny.
You were also over syllabalizing too.
I was over syllabalizing. So, through videos, photos, and direct observations at the regional park, the authors documented California ground squirrels of all ages and genders hunting, eating, and competing over vole prey between June 10th and July 30th. The squirrels' carnivorous summer behavior peaked during the first 2 weeks of July, coinciding with an explosion of vole numbers at the park reported by citizen scientists on iNaturalist. This suggests the squirrels' hunting behavior emerged alongside a temporary increase in the availability of prey, the study said. The scientists didn't observe the squirrels hunting other mammals. So, too many voles. What you gonna do? You eat some.
Yeah.
Another quote.
They got a taste for voles.
Yeah, voles first, humans next. That really reminds me of the Rick and Morty when Morty wants to be able to hear what animals are saying, and he puts on like the helmet and he looks at the squirrels and they're like, and then suddenly the squirrel's like, "Hey, human, can you hear us talking, human? Come here, we grant wishes." And then he tells Rick, and Rick's like, "What? You mess with the squirrels? We got to get out of here." Oh, that was a great episode. Just the fact that the squirrel's like, "Come here, little boy, we grant wishes." Anyways, a quote from Wilde: "The fact that California ground squirrels are behaviorally flexible and can respond to changes in food availability might help them persist in environments rapidly changing due to the presence of humans." I would even go as far to say climate change.
Right.
Things are changing. Things are changing rapidly in the world around us right now. This is real hot summer. Yeah, hottest on record every year. Wonder why. When the weather's changing, when the climate's changing, that changes all of everything else from that point down, right? It's going to change how the plants grow. It's going to change water. It changes everything, and it'll go all the way down to animal behavior, because hey, if there's extra food in one place and maybe not normal food in that same place, well, then you just shift a little, right? Not enough acorns. Look at all these voles. Why not?
Wonder how they taste. I'm really hungry right now.
Yeah, I'm really. Let's do this. So, to wrap this up, the researchers said many questions remain unanswered, including how widespread hunting behavior is among squirrels, whether and how it is passed down from parent to pup, and how it affects ecological processes. The authors were also excited to return to the field next summer to see what impact, if any, this year's vole hunting may have on squirrel reproduction compared to the past decade. If squirrels switch over, if these specific ground squirrels are like, "Hey, voles, it's great. This is really good for us. This is a better, more efficient source of calories. Now we can have more pups. Now our population's going to go up. They might, like, hey man, we're vole hunters now. This may be more efficient for our survival, and then this is how evolution happens. We're seeing it. Anyways, I thought that was really interesting. Carnivorous squirrels. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Did you watch the video that's linked off of it?
I did not. No.
Yeah. So about 50 seconds into it, you can actually see the squirrels wrestling with some voles and carrying them to their lair, and then dropping it, and the vole tries to get away, and the squirrel comes back after it.
Oh my!
It's pretty incredible.
Wow! I see these squirrels just chewing on these things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's horrific. That's straight out of my nightmares.
Well, I mean, for the vole, sure.
I mean, aren't we all a little vole?
Feeling a little vole-ish, yeah.
I'm feeling vole-ish.
A little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
the voles are so cute.
Yeah, the
And
vole.
the squirrels are so big.
So big and mean.
Yeah. Man, yeah, and the vole like tries to play dead later on in some other videos, and this is. Does your family watch a lot of nature documentaries?
No, but I think we're going
Why
to.
not? Yeah. We have for a long time we've been watching nature documentaries occasionally, and so it's there have been things I think I probably wouldn't have watched with my child if it wasn't like, no, this is just nature. It's probably a good idea that we kind of discuss this.
Mhm.
But yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to discuss nature before you live it.
Maybe, yeah. Well, it's this year I've really got this sense that kindness is a human creation, that like nature is as nature does,
Mhm.
right? And so like that idea that how cool is it that we as humans have kindness, that we've created kindness, that we do kind things. It's great.
It
And
is.
like how great is it that we can lean into that too?
I
don't
mean,
know, man.
it's keeping the voles alive from humans at least.
Right. Yeah, we're not eating voles. They're too cute.
Too cute.
Too small too. Not a lot of meat on those voles, but enough for a squirrel.
Enough for a squirrel. All right, we are going to
Wow.
take ourselves a little break. And when we come back, oh man, if you guys have been waiting for that Where Rabbits Come From talk, oh
The answer
boy.
will surprise
The
you.
answer will surprise you. So we'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to the Science Faction Podcast. If you would like to donate to our podcast, please go to patreon.com/sciencefactionpodcast and join the millions who have already donated to our wonderful cause.
And we're back.
It's like we never left.
Exactly.
Hey, Stephen.
Hi.
And a big thank you to our patrons. That's Renee and Josh. Patreon.com/sciencefactionpodcast. Stephen, Renee hopes you're feeling better.
Renee, if you had any thoughts and or prayers, I think they worked this time. Might be the only time. Thank you so much, Renee. I am feeling better now. She actually had a whole thing with her daughter, which I'm not going to get into now, but she made a post on Instagram. They had a little run-in with some trouble, had to get some brain scans and whatnot. Everything's fine now. But when I saw her post, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. So I hope your daughter's feeling well. According to your post, she is. And yes, I am feeling better. And I hope that nobody in your family gets this flu, because this is awful. It is not a good
Yeah.
flu.
I know last year was our year of getting sick. Like we missed Halloween because we had COVID. We missed the winter showcase for our school because Flint was really bad, like really ill. And so this year, it's knock on wood, like we got through the October through December, like important
Gauntlet?
times. Yeah, with we were good this year.
That's awesome.
but for the grace, we did it. But
Yes.
yeah, man, sorry to hear that you had to deal with it.
Well, someone's got to do it. I guess it was me. I picked the short straw this year.
Ugh.
Oh, by the way, Devin's in Oregon right now. That's why he's not here. I don't think we
Yeah.
ever mentioned that.
He doesn't. He's he's living his best life. Man.
He's trying his best. He's hanging out with family. It's he sent us a video of his kids screaming at the ocean, which that's cool, man. Thanks for that.
Well, it's funny is that like I didn't realize until like an hour after he sent it. I was like, oh yeah, they don't have the ocean all the time like we do.
Right,
That's
Texas.
kind of it's probably a new thing for those little crafts there. Those
Yeah.
crafty little guys.
I completely forgot about that as well. That's for them. That's like, ooh, water.
Yeah, that's why they're yelling.
They're yelling at the high water. Actually, it's low tide. Is what Devin would say.
I liked your hashtag boy energy, and then I asked, what are they screaming, and why isn't it gat skibbity rizzler freel freel?
Oh boy, don't say those. I think you just cast a spell.
I did.
Oh.
Next week for our book club, we're going to be all participating in talking about A Sound of Thunder, the 1952 short story by Ray Bradbury. Find it however you can, but we'll have a link to a PDF and audio reading on YouTube in our show notes,
Yes.
and maybe even a TV show. I don't know how well they adapt it on this TV show from the late 80s, but
I'm sure it's flawless. 100% flawless.
But this week, let's finally talk about where rabbits come from, Stephen.
Okay, let's do our best. Yeah,
Did you do your homework, Stephen?
I tried. So this is a lesson for me and for Devin on expediency, and a lesson on how fickle the internet can be.
Mhm.
When you first proposed this and you talked about what it was, you're like, oh, it's this animated French thing. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Here's a link. And we went, cool. And then promptly ignored it. And then the weeks went by and we kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And then finally one day I was like, I'm going to click this link and watch this. And the video was no longer there.
Yep.
So I did not get a chance to watch this thing. I
All
watched
right.
the trailer and it looks absolutely amazing. And I am so bummed that I did not get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, it's worth it. If anybody's able to find it, please do see it. But I'll just tell you what it's about now.
Just
because,
tell me. Just the world is yours.
So, according to the synopsis, the best synopsis I found of it, in a cold, gray dystopian world, a widowed father rabbit challenges absolute authority by trying to infuse an ounce of wonder and a little bit of hope, magic, and possibility into his daughter's life after the mysterious disappearance of her mother. A story of resilience, love, and hope in the face of darkness.
Now, I noticed that you didn't say Nazi rabbits at any time, but
I did not say that.
But I'm pretty sure I saw that in the trailer.
Yes. Yeah. This cold, dark dystopian world that the father is raising his daughter as a single parent in, it provides kind of this is the really the big challenge here. In the middle of one night, a ghostly hand appears from the sky and comes down and grabs the father and rips him out of his bed and out from the world. And he comes to, and he's being held by a magician that just pulled him out of a hat into a exceptionally colorful and beautiful sun-filled world where there's infinite meadows and beautiful smiling children everywhere.
Whoa.
And he looks off into the distance and he sees this tree on a sunset hill. And then he's plunged back into the hat and back into this dystopian world.
Oh my gosh.
Now he has a like a like a real challenge there. Is like he's seen a world beyond description, a world where life doesn't have to be like this. What does he do with that knowledge? Well, eventually through the course of, and so like as he's talking about all this stuff, he gets uh, kidnapped by the authoritarian government, and they decide that in order to silence him and to stop his heresy, they're just going to put him in the electric chair and kill him.
Wow.
They rip the family together. The daughter goes.
Wait, they
and,
rip the family together?
rip the family apart. The daughter goes to be dealt with in another way, and so now the father, facing execution, he escapes, is chased by the government, rescues his daughter, and then finds a way. I don't exactly remember all the details, but does find a way, and they both get into are grabbed by the mysterious hand and brought back into the other universe, in which they run away and go to that meadow on the hill, in which they find another rabbit that seems to be very much like the mother that had died and had passed away.
Wow.
And that is where rabbits come from.
That's amazing.
Uh-huh.
Man. Okay, so this thing has won a ton of awards, or at least has been nominated for them.
Yeah.
What a wonderful idea for a
Yeah.
story.
What an incredible multiverse story.
No
Steven.
boimlers or anything. That's great.
No. Mid pod, you definitely will get a lot of discussion about multiverse stories through Lower Decks and through Sliders. But so if you'd like to hear more about that, become a patron. But this also is just an incredible multiverse story that you, like I said, you don't expect it. The answer is not what you expect, but it's just told with such heart and tension and drama. And because it's an international animated film, very little, if any, dialogue.
I was going to ask about dialogue next. Yeah, it seems like the sort of story that could be told with very minimal dialogue.
Yeah. And it was, if you've got children that are not it has definite peril.
Yeah.
You don't know if everybody's going to make it out of there. If you have children that are that don't quite handle those kind of stories well, maybe wait until they can,
Yeah.
because these are very adorable bunnies that go through some real challenge and turmoil.
Yeah.
And but there is a happy ending at the end.
That's beautiful, man.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I get to watch that one day.
Right. Yeah. Where rabbits come from a dystopian world in which they're dealing with Nazi level fascism, and
jeez,
that's where rabbits come from.
What's the the scientific name for rabbit? Isn't it something insane?
I don't know.
There's some I gotta look it up real quick. Yeah, because you think rabbit and bunny, and it sounds so good. But it's the scientific classification for a rabbit is
Leporidae in the order Lagomorpha.
Lagomorph. That's the word I was thinking about. So we got Nazi lagomorphs, authoritarian lagomorphs, just. Not a xenomorph. Devin got excited. No, the lagomorph.
Calm down,
Calm
Devin.
down.
Hang out for the final words.
Yeah, just chill, man.
Spoiler word.
We'll get there. I mean, this sounds great. What a wonderful story. Yeah. So, I mean, so we'll go ahead and go back to the short stories from the 1950s because I don't think anyone's going to cancel those. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, mind you, I bet you that the idea here is there will be a place to see these, to see this in the future
I
or
imagine
not.
it was pulled because someone has purchased it and
Yeah.
to then resell it because that's how
That's how media and all
yeah,
that works.
that's capitalism.
Right.
Which is,
You
I
know.
mean, that's good and bad because when you create something like this, it's nice to be recognized for your work. And most artists are like, here, take it. Look at my work, in terror or whatever. um,
Gaze upon my works, ye mighty, and
there,
despair.
there you go. You knew the quote. Uh, but it's also nice to be like, oh, hey, good job, artist. Here's some money for your amazing work. And so hopefully these artists will get what is due to them, and hopefully one of these days it'll be like, oh, look at that, it's available on whatever, and then we can all check it out.
Yeah.
That'd be beautiful.
That would be nice.
Since we're talking about looking at things with peril and children, I'm gonna take a few minutes, if you don't mind, and talk about Skeleton Crew.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, peril and children, man.
Par-
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
uh,
because man, 'cause you haven't been on the show since it's come out.
exactly. No.
You just got to listen to me and Flint talk about it.
I mean, if I was not, if I was appropriately conscious, sure. I didn't get a chance to listen to your episode with Flint or your episode with Devin. I listened to a little bit of the one with you and Devin yesterday, but not enough. I just heard Devin talk about work for like 10 minutes. I was like, oh, our podcast is awful.
Hey man, I was just doing the best I could with what I got.
Hey, I know.
Devin's on the show. Let's talk about what Devin would like to talk
You
about.
got
Here
it.
we
You
go.
got it. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah, he needed to get a little bit off his chest.
He
It's all
did.
good.
That was Devin therapy time, and that's fine.
Mhm.
But yeah, Skeleton Crew. So that's the new hot Star Wars item. You got kids. You got Jude Law. You got
Smee.
Smee. Yeah, SM33. Voiced by Nick Frost.
Oh, cool. Neat.
Yeah. So we've watched 3 episodes. So on its premiere, there were 2 episodes, and then there's been 2 episodes since. The 4th one came out last week. By the time this airs, the 5th one will be out. So 3 episodes in, and wow.
Is it just you watching it, or do you have any other members of the family joining?
Oh my goodness, it's the entire family.
The whole kit and caboodle.
The whole kit and the caboodle, yes.
Yeah.
So we've got 6-year-old, 10-year-old, and then 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So we're all watching it together, and the 6-year-old is not 100% down with the peril, but
Okay.
she gets to cuddle with mom the whole time.
Oh.
And ask questions to dad, where dad has probably already seen the episode beforehand and can safely say, the kids are going to be fine, or don't worry, they're not going to crash, or whatever it is.
Right.
And that calms her a bit. 10-year-old, she's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And I said, that's right. It probably is. You're only 10.
Do you think that they will have a new respect for Galaxy's Edge next time they go?
Respect? I
Well,
don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't know. They might appreciate it a little bit more. They might. There'll be some recognizable bits, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if any of the characters that make appearances or anything like that.
Right.
Crimson Jack. Like, hey, Jude Law, how much to dress up and go to walk around Batuu? No. I mean, yeah, I what I'm really hoping is that this is their gateway.
Yeah.
This is their like, oh, this is what Star Wars can be. But it is a very unique show because it's not like any kind of Star Wars we've ever seen before. Because this is Spielberg's Star Wars, if
Yeah.
you will, right? Like this is a kid show. It's so Goonies coded. Like
Yeah.
it's kids. There's treasure. There's pirates, and like this is just a good story with a very finely detailed coat of Star Wars around it.
I
You
mean,
know,
it's John Watts.
it's John Watts,
Like
man.
he is a real he knows how to how to navigate the Disneyfication of Marvel and Star Wars, it seems.
Yes,
And
because he's
you know,
he's a Spider-Man guy.
yeah,
Right, he's
the last trilogy of Spider-Man films were him. Yeah.
Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home were
Yeah.
all him. And man, those were great movies.
Right.
I mean,
Bangers, every one of them.
every single one, just
Mhm.
bang.
And here we are with his style and his sensibilities in a Star Wars show.
Mhm.
And
and so far, like I have zero issues with it. Like there's not like, oh, it's good, except no, it's good, and then there's a big period at the end of that. Like it is such a well thought out, well crafted show, and it's for kids, it's for adults. The scariest thing, the Wolfman is scary, but
Oh,
the
okay,
Wolfman is supposed to be scary.
he's supposed to be scary. Yeah, for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
So that's like when she's like, I don't like him. I'm like, good, because you're not supposed to like him.
I mean, Crimson Jack probably
You
shouldn't
should
be
be a
trusted
little-
either.
A little more concerned about that man.
Yeah.
But you don't know that because you're just kids.
Now, back to like creators.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the next episode because the Daniels are the directors of the next episode. The Daniels who
Yeah.
directed Swiss Army Man and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They have an interesting eye for sure.
So I'm really curious how the fourth episode will go.
Yeah, I watched one of them round tables that they do sometimes as like, and they'll put it on the Star Wars YouTube will put it on there, and I watched one. It had John Watts, and it had the red haired lady, Opie's
Bryce
daughter.
Dallas Howard.
Yeah,
Howard? Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard, because she is like deep into these Star Wars shows as well. I'm positive she directed one of these episodes.
Yeah.
And
The sixth episode she'll be directing.
oh, perfect, there it is. And they all mentioned like, oh, the Daniels, talking about them, and it just seemed like the amount of love and care put into the show was just off the charts, and it shows on screen. Like
Yeah.
this wasn't a cash grab. This wasn't a like, okay, what slice of consumer have we not kowtowed to yet? Oh, the kids. All right, let's make a silly kids show. Like it wasn't that. It was a labor of love, and you can
Well,
see it.
Maybe it's that, but like it's in those constraints. They found the right creators that could put in the right amount of effort and expertise,
Mhm.
and to not make it something that's disposable. This is a
Yeah.
really well crafted and great family show
Mhm.
in a time where a lot of like Marvel properties, they're kind of trying to go a little bit darker. They're really trying to, I don't know.
They're kind of missing the mark on things, and
Well,
this one,
I mean,
hits-
Andor's not a kids show at
Th-
all.
very true.
And so there's but yeah.
I'm real excited for Andor.
Right, when's that coming back?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think I want to say summer 2025, but I don't know why that popped up. But it's like soon, but not that soon.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's got what 4 time jumps in it. It's like every 2 episodes is a time jump or something.
Huh.
It's very laid out because the war is ramping up, and we know
Yeah.
where it's going to end. And so yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, very excited for Andor. Skeleton Crew's great. I'm loving that the kids are excited. Like this morning, I was like, "Hey kids, you want to watch the next episode of Skeleton Crew?" And 10-year-old's like, "Yeah." 6-year-old's like, "No, I want to keep watching Daniel Tiger." And we're like, "No, no, no. Let's
Okay.
let's cuddle on the couch and let's watch." And then she was in, right?
Right on.
Except I don't like the Wolf Man, and that's fine. You don't have to like him. Which he like that character is such a deep cut. So do you?
Okay.
Okay.
Bring it.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Here's the deal. In 1977. No. So there was a creature in the cantina that was a Wolfman.
Yeah.
And as in the original Star Wars, the pre-tinkered Star Wars, there was like a single shot, and it's just like staring right at the camera, like taking a sip from a glass, going "Rrr," and for like 3 seconds, and that's all it was. And apparently, Lucas never liked it because it was a generic, off-the-shelf Halloween mask that they just kind of modified up a little bit, and he was like, "That's just a Wolfman. Like, that's not Star Wars." And so, in the special editions onward, that little clip is taken out, and there's a different creature there doing something else for that same little slot of time. He just replaced it with something else, and that alien type was never seen again until now. So
Wow.
like that's where this Wolfman thing is. I see you.
Shistavainen.
Yeah, it's just yeah, has finally returned as a full-fledged alien species once more. And so like for people like me and only me who remember that and who was always like, I like the Wolfman. Why'd they take Wolfman out of the cantina?
Yeah.
And of course there was a book, right, an extended universe book, Tales
from
the Mos Eisley
Cantina.
Cantina. I'm sure that
Yeah.
that person, Lack, you have it here, Lack Sivrak?
Lex Sivrak, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, there it is, Wolfman. That probably they had their whole story of or something, and that was scrubbed from the official canon. And so now they can come back and be a bad guy pirate, and that's wonderful. And I love that they're just like Star Wars and pirates and space, kids, Jedi, like beautiful grumpy droid. Oh yes, please. Like
Right.
all of like it doesn't miss. It doesn't miss.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They-
Anyways,
They did done good.
Yeah, I want to and I want to know what's the deal with At-Atin. I want to know, like, what's with the ties with the Republic, with the High Republic? Why is it hidden? How come it's like an unknown treasure planet? What are they doing there? What are fungible accounts? Like, and of course, like one theory is that all they do is it's a whole planet of people devoted to messing with space stock exchange or whatever to help fund Palpatine and all of his thousands of Star Destroyers that he's building out in the middle of nowhere for the Sith Eternal. Because where did they get the money to build all those Star Destroyers?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some theories with that kind of stuff, which fine, whatever. Most of what the Bad Batch was all about. Hey, the Palpatine cloning, got to do it. We gotta somehow he returned, and so now all the Star Wars shows have to tell us how.
One line.
One line has
Just
ruined,
one line.
ruined all of it for all time, always. But and if that's the case, that's not what this show's about. Right. This show is about 4 kids going on an adventure, trying to get home. And at that, it is doing beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's enough Skeleton Crew talk. I think we might, are we done? Is that it?
I think that's it.
I don't remember the show at all. Is this we're done now?
Yeah. Now I guess I'm old hat at this. So.
Oh man, now you've recorded
Look
more
at
than
me. I'm the captain.
Oh boy. All right. Well, it's about to be Christmas time. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah
Sure.
and happy Kwanzaa.
That one.
Hanukkah starts this year on the same day as Christmas does.
Oh.
So, which is like super, that's really interesting. So
Good times for our
Yeah.
our Jewish friends.
yeah.
Yeah. And any other thing that you're celebrating? Hey, happy that thing.
Have a break. Take a little break.
Have it.
You deserve it.
Yeah. Everyone, just please chill out for a couple days, because it's not gonna stop. It's never gonna stop.
This moment is the only one we have. It's the only thing that exists, right? So like make the most of it and look after yourself.
There you go. Do you have any besides that, do you have any final thoughts?
2 astronauts aboard the Nostromo are making coffee when one says, "I can't seem to find any milk." The other one replies, "In space, no one can. Here, use cream."
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.